The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Recently, they say amazing Maisa that just came out. One of the pamphlets that we read. Amazing story. Every year in Rosh Hashanah, after the Tefillah, so everybody in the entire shul would come around in a circle, and they would wish Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, Zechet Tzadik Libracha, a good year, Shana Tova. And then they would wish each other, La'alter L'Chaim Tovim U'Shalom, right? They would wish each other a year of life, a year of health. One at a time would come in front of the great Reb Chaim. And Reb Chaim would wish each person a good year, a lebedik year, a year of life. One guy walks by, Reb Chaim ignores him, and would not wish him a Shana Tova, would not wish him L'Chaim Tovim U'Shalom. The man realized. Reb Chaim went to the next person and continued the line. What happened? This guy got a little bit nervous. He went to his friend. He said, Reb Chaim did not wish me a good year. He did not wish me a year. L'chaim tovim shalom. Got very worked up, very nervous, very broken. His friend ran back to Reb Chaim and said, Harav, you didn't wish this guy a good year. Shana tova, l'chaim tovim shalom, la'alter l'chaim tovim. Reb Chaim said, I know. He's not going to live out the year. When this guy heard that, could you imagine? We should never, don't imagine. The guy didn't know what to do with himself. That night he went home, he didn't sleep. The rest of the Rosh Hashanah, he prayed his heart out. Yom Kippur by him was Ne'ilah from the minute it started to the minute it ended. That year, this guy took upon himself Kabbalot, unbelievable teshuvah. He was learning Torah Yomam Valayla. And as the year moved its way on, the year finished. And he ended up living till the next Rosh Hashanah. The next Rosh Hashanah when the year was up. And the guy actually lived throughout the year. So the guy with his friend, who a year prior went to Reb Chaim and said, they came into Reb Chaim and said, Reb Chaim, remember you told me a year ago that I'm not going to live out the year? Remember? Ich bin da lebendig. I am alive. I'm still here. It's a year later, a new year, the year passed. Chaim looked at the guy and said to him, impossible. It's not shaykh. I saw on you last year that you're not living out the year. What did you do? What did you do? He said, I did tshuva. And I learned Torah Yomam Valayla. And I said, Hashem, no different than the famous Maisa with the Melech that the Navi told him, Machar, get your tachrichim ready. Machar, you're going. Remember the Gemara in Berachot? Kibalti mi bet avi abba. Shalo yitya'ish min harachamim. He says, I was boteach in Hashem, that Hashem is going to break the gzeira on me in the zechut of the Torah, in the zechut of everything. Hashem is going to save me. Hashem's going to save me. Hashem's going to save me. Reb Chaim smiled and he said, the famous pasuk. Pasuk says, on a mensch that was already brought on him, mishpat mavet. You know what the pasuk says? V'talu al etz. They hang him on a tree. It says, Rabbi Chaim, which etz is that? That's the etz haTorah. Etz Chaim hi lamahazikim ba. He says, when a guy has it on him, mishpat mavet, all he can do is v'talu al etz. If he hangs himself on the etz Chaim hi lamahazikim ba, it's the one thing that could save him. He says, you hung yourself on the etz Chaim, you were boteach that in the Zechut Torah, Hashem is going to break the gzeira that was on this guy from Shamayim not to live out the year. That's how you broke it. That's how you're living. Wow. There is nothing that someone who's absolutely boteach in Hashem, who throws himself on Borei Olam, and who realizes that no one else can do for him anything but Hashem. And he comes to that realization. We're calling this the maturity of bitachon, where he says to himself, it's not even kedai to rely on people. I realize that there's no one else in this world that can do anything for me other than you, Hashem. Abba, ani bayadayim shelcha. Not relying on anyone else, only you. Ani somech rak alecha. That's it. Only you am I relying on you. And this guy did that. I mean, think about it. The Navi Hadar told him he's not living out the year. He told him. When did he tell him? On Rosh Hashanah he told him, you're not living out the year. And instead of shriveling up and crawling under a rock and throwing in the towel and saying, that's it, I'm done. No. Al tityayesh min harachamim. Al tityayesh min harachamim.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org